and we report back 100 days. That's what transparency, that's what accountability is, that's what responsibility is. I owe you an explanation as to whether we're making progress or not. Let me close on this note. If you read this, I think the professor says, look, you guys are all screwed up on how you're doing this and this cost-benefit analysis. So let me give you some questions that I think you should be asking government. If the idea is to reduce environmental harm, then there's got to be appropriate measurements. And it can't be created by government. It's got to be created by the community. How are we going to measure what government does? It was easy for me when I was a prosecutor because the jury either went up or down, and I could report back I either won or lost the case. But this is a little bit different. How do you know the Salton Sea is getting to be cleaner? How do you know the new rivers get to be cleaner? And what is the measures you're going to use to figure out if you're making any progress? So at the bottom of this one-page guide for action, I say the following. Each community's got to be responsible for not only identifying the number of environmental harms, but also the number of harms being addressed.
Excuse me, sir. Please, the translator, my people here are not hearing well what he's saying, okay? The translation is not accurate as what he's saying. That is not correct. So I will, because I'm listening to, and you're skipping words, and we need to know everything that he's saying. Thank you very much.
Don't ask me to repeat it when you get my age. You can't always know where the hell the car is in the parking lot.
Sir, could you slow down then a little bit? Just slow down a little bit, please.
Okay.
You're excited.
So the point is what is your action plan for the community? And whatever the action plan is, I don't know if you've ever read Jared Diamond's book, Collapse, but what Jared Diamond says in that book is whether communities succeed or fail will be based upon two things. One, are they capable of identifying what their environmental harms are in that community? And two, can they address and reduce those environmental harms? If they can't on either one of those fronts, they lose. They lose. So, we need to track the the progress of every environmental harm that we are working to eliminate. You've got to track it from the beginning. What's the baseline? Where is it that we've started? Where are we 100 days from now? Where are we 200 days from now? Where are we 3 years from now? Are we making progress? Can anyone, somebody handed out a questionnaire, I looked at it. Do you think we're making progress on the Salton Sea? How many know? Anybody know? I don't know. And this is what I'm supposed to be an expert in. We need to know when the environmental harm is squished. I call the program Spot the Squish. Spot an environmental harm and squish it. How do you know when the environmental harm has been squished, or how do you know that it's been reduced? What exactly do we mean by squished? How do we know that the environmental harm is no longer with us? We keep on hearing, for example, that the air quality in the state of California is improving. Okay, do you want to use that as a measurement, or would you rather use as a measurement that the asthmatic rate of children in the state of California is going up in leaps and bounds? I'm going to take the asthma rate. What systems, and I think this is kind of interesting, what systems have been established for monitoring the environment for new or emerging problems? And what data gathering and analysis will help us with this task? If you keep on using the same equipment over and over again, you're going to get the same damn result over and over again. Maybe we're not using the right equipment. Maybe the community should have the equipment. Because you're going to be looking at me, and if I come up to you and say, hey, I've got the data to tell you what's going on, I don't know about you folks, but I would certainly like to have the piece of equipment that I'm using to make sure that what I'm doing is right. I know this is hard to believe, but sometimes government makes mistakes. And you have got to constantly meet regularly. You can't meet once a year, twice a year. This thing that you've got going today is remarkable. This is something you should be extremely proud of. This is something that you have basically, this did not exist 10 years ago in this county. It did not. I know, I was here. There was no community activism to speak of on the environmental front. There was no collective conscience about what it is that we need to do to address environmental problems. You need to stand up now, please, and commend yourself for the work.
Thank you very much. We are going to meet representatives of various government agencies, and this will be an opportunity to invite them to come and share and also participate in this dialogue. We will ask, first of all, I'm going to transition the moderation over to a colleague and professor, Dr. Aníbal Yáñez Chavez, professor at California State University in San Marcos, expert on U.S.-Mexico border issues. And he will help us to facilitate this discussion where we want to ask some concrete questions about the type of accountability, resources, next steps, and some strategies for bringing in this dialogue with the community as experts and also in collaboration with government agencies and local representatives. So we're going to invite our panelists to come to the front. Mary Lou, Carlos, so I think we're going to ask you to sit in the back and then we'll introduce them. Okay, so they're going to set it up for you. So we'll invite other panelists to come up, and Dr. Aníbal Yáñez will help us facilitate. And then we actually do have, so the rest of the session is a combination of question and dialogue. So this is where we will want to get some input from all of you. We'll ask Michael to also come up, Wilton, Marilyn, and Roger. So if you guys can all come up, and we'll get the next session started. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Arcela. Thank you for inviting me to this incredible community event. Muchas gracias a la doctora Núñez Álvarez por su invitación a participar en este increíble evento en que la comunidad está tomando entre sus manos el futuro de su comunidad. Mi papel aquí es simplemente facilitar esta discusión, tratar de que los aquí enfrente respondan a sus preguntas, que las escuchen bien. My role here is really just to try to facilitate this discussion, to make sure that the representatives here address your questions and that your questions are clearly expressed. So you all have the floor. I don't know if you have decided on an order of presentation or appearance, or if you want to just take questions right off the bat.
Who are they? Who are they?
A brief introduction, who is here and what do they do. Una breve introducción de quién está aquí presente y qué papel pueden jugar en esta cuestión de justicia ambiental.
I'm Michael Weldon. I work for the California Office of Binational Border Health. That's a California Department of Public Health office, and I'm an epidemiologist.
Thank you very much.
I'm Mary Lou Cortez Carlos. I'm with the Department of Pesticide Regulation, and I'm Assistant Director for the department.
My name is Roger Vince. I'm the Performance Manager for the Department of Toxic Substances Control, Imperial Coupa, out of the Calexico office.